To politics on Sunday. I'm Ayodele Uzubakun, standing in for Femi Akonde. On the show tonight, we turn our attention to the Congress for Progressive Change, a party that once stirred Nigeria's political landscape with strong ideals and fiery rhetoric. And more than a decade after its emergence and eventual merger into the ruling APC, questions still linger. Was the CPC a product of deep conviction or simply a vehicle of convenience? Critics argue that the party's rapid rise and eventual collapse into a broader coalition showed an agenda rooted more in expediency than ideology. Yet the supporters, the CPC, represented an unyielding conviction for change, justice, and more accountable government. As Nigeria continues to grapple with questions of governance, democracy, and political alignment, the CPC stories remain a case study highlighting the tension between conviction and convenience in the nation's political journey. Okoi Obla is a former special advisor to the President Buhari, that's the former president, on public prosecution. He's live with us in the studio. Thank you for joining us.
That was a pleasure.
Let me take you back to, lately we've been reading that immediately after the demise of the former head of states, that the CPC bloc, that's the bloc President Buhari represented in the legacy party that's coalesced into the All Progressive Congress, they are pulling out and they would not be giving their support to Bola Tinubu ahead of the 2027 election. So we saw likes of the former minister of Justice and Attorney General, they went with a member of the ADC. We have some other prominent members of CPC joining the ADC, the new political party. Is this an indication that the power block of the Buhari's legacy party that time, the CPC, might not support Bola Tinubu come 2027?
No, that is far from it. We have resolved, even before the former President Muhammadu Buhari died, that we are going to support Aswaju President Bola Ahmed Tinubu to pay back what he did. President Muhammadu Buhari contested in 2003, 2007, 2011, and he couldn't win. He couldn't make inroad into the southern Nigeria until he had to, agree to merge his political party, his political vehicle, CPC, with ACN, that was founded by Aswaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu.
As at that time, tell us the major players in CPC.
Well, the major players was President Buhari. We had Suleyama, he's from Kano, he's still around with us. We had Buba Galadima, and others. Malami was not a major player. He was a national officer. Just
the likes of Tanko Amakura.
Amakura was there. Was the governor that was elected in 2011 in Nasarawa State. But if you are talking about players, Malami was not among. He was a national officer, just like me. I was a pioneer national legal advisor, and in 2011 National Convention of CPC, I had to step down because the position was zoned from
the north.
Yeah, from northwest. I'm from the south. So I had to step down.
And Abubakar Malami stepped in.
Yeah, exactly. And then I became the National Deputy Secretary. So he was just a national officer. But the fact that he was appointed Attorney General, notwithstanding, what is the qualification for appointment of Attorney General? 10 years at the bar. And we had an instance during the military era where a non-senior advocate of Nigeria was appointed. So that was what he was. He was not the most powerful figure in CPC. He wasn't. So when he says, I want to leave the APC, we say, okay, fine. But if you believe in the doctrine, if you believe in the principle or philosophy of former President Muhammadu Buhari, you cannot.
At what point in time?
Yes, I will say that because you remember twice Garba Shehu was the spokesperson of former President Muhammadu Buhari until he died. Twice he came out to clarify
that President
Buhari's position. Yes, that, look, I will remain, for President Buhari said, is going to remain a member of APC. Twice, that he was very appreciative to APC for affording him the platform to become Nigerian president for 8 years, that he is not going to anywhere. And that is a very important declaration. I speak as whether you are a Muslim or you are a Christian. It's not what we call last testament. It was a last testament of President Muhammadu Buhari. So anybody who believes in him, his ideals, should, abide by that last testament, that we shouldn't leave APC. We should be in APC, and we should support President Bola Ahmed Tinubu.
But there's this argument that during the Buhari tenure, that the CPC people actually, gained so much in terms of political appointments and what have you, than reverse is the case now, that during Bola Tinubu's tenure, that it's now the turn of the former ACN to actually, reap that the CPC bloc, they are feeling marginalized.
Well, I don't agree. I don't agree with that. You see, the CPC is no longer a political party. The ACN is no longer a political party. These parties were dissolved in 2013, which is one of the requirements for the merger of political parties. All the parties that want to join the merger.
So you don't have tendencies.
Exactly, we don't have tendencies, which is normal. We have tendencies in every political party, whether in Nigeria or in the US or in UK or in India. You have tendencies, but that does not mean that APC is not one political party. So when you begin to say this person is ACN, is CPC, I don't think we should be doing that. Otherwise, we will make nonsense of the merger. It is now 13 good years. This party has existed. So we have come a long way. We are, on the verge of attaining maturity. And luckily for the party has won elections, 2015, 2019, 2023. And we are going to 2027, which we are likely to win. So I don't think we should be talking about, CPC, ACN, ABGA, AMPP, all the parties that came together to merge.
Some people will say that 2027...
and I want to say that it is not true that CPC bloc is not in the government, or people were in the CPC. The Speaker of the House of Reps, Dr. Tajuddin Abbas, is a CPC guy. The Minister for Foreign Affairs is a CPC guy. The Governor of Kebbi, the Governor of Katsina, Governor of Niger State, and a host of others.
Bago?
Yes, exactly. And so we are there, and we are not leaving APC, because if we do that, we are ingrates. We are very appreciative to the role President Bola Ahmed Tinubu played in revamping the political machinery of Buhari until Buhari became president for 8 years.
Did Buhari support the emergence of Bola Tinubu in that primaries?
Well, I think so. He was neutral, and said...
laid back.
Yeah, just laid back. It's typically him, which I think is good.
The body language did not support.
The body language was that, look, I want to be neutral so that I will not cause crisis in the party. If he had, thrown his support behind any of the aspirants, there would have been a split in the party. But I think it is very good for our democracy. And, for the best person to win. And the best person won the primaries.
After the emergence of Bola Tinubu,
yes,
the primaries, the party did not heal. The likes of Rotimi Amechi, the people now, the major gladiator against Bola Tinubu, they've gone to the ADC.
Those are outsiders.
What do you mean by outsiders?
Yeah, they were not part.
It was a runner-up during that primaries.
APC was a brainwave of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu and former President Muhammadu Buhari. Let me tell you what happened. When we were going for the merger, I was the secretary of CPC Merger Committee, and he inaugurated us on the 13th of January 2013. He gave us a marching instruction. Don't negotiate with AMPP. Because apparently he was disenchanted with AMPP people. Because
the way they treated him.
Yeah, the way they treated him.
Before now.
You know, in 2007.
Yes.
When he was challenged the elections of President Yaradua, they abandoned him. You know, so he gave us a machine order. Don't negotiate with them. But unfortunately, or luckily for us, I would say luckily, on our first meeting in the house of Chief Tom Ikimi, who was the chairman of ACM Media Committee, they sold us a dummy. He told us that, look, we have to bring in AMPP. Otherwise, ACM will pull out of the media talk. Yes, it was an ambush. And we saw the trap that if we do not take it, they will come and say that Buhari was not ready to associate with other political figures in Nigeria to form a broad national progressive political party. So we said, okay.
I remember that time they submitted their certificate back to INEC, and a national decision was held, and they actually denounced their individual parties before they came together. Yeah. Now, what is the difference between what we had in 2013 and what is happening in ADC now?
No, there's nothing like that. ADC has been existing since 2005. ADC is older than APC. But the party has been a lagger. The party has not been able to form traction, with momentum, gather momentum with Nigeria.
Under Rafoso.
Exactly. So you can't compare the formation of APC with ADC. ADC was not founded now. It's an old party. Okay? We have a situation where people are coming to hijack or have hijacked the structure, of ADC. And it's causing a lot of ripples. Some groups are in court saying that you cannot come and hijack our party from us. But APC was different. We had CPC, we had ACN, we had AMPP, and then the factions of ABGA and DPP.
New PDP.
And let me tell you, before even the merger, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu and former President Muhammadu Buhari had started discussing as far back as 2008 under the auspices of the National Democratic Movement. And you know that in 2011, there was this move for President Bola Ahmed Tinubu to be the running mate of General Muhammadu Buhari to contest the 2011 presidential election against President Jonathan. And unfortunately, Tunde Bakari had emerged as a running mate of President Buhari. So Ali was not ready to step down for President Bola Ahmed Tinubu to become the running mate of President Buhari. And so that collapsed. But after that, we went to the elections. We lost 2011 presidential election. And then two of them realized that, look, if we don't come together, if the progressive doesn't come together, there is no way we can defeat PDP because PDP has become bigger and bigger. So that was what, metamorphosed, both of them to agree, to talk, to discuss, to form APC. And I can tell you that the major discussions or negotiations were very smooth because they know what they wanted. And they were very clear about it, very clear that President Buhari will be the presidential, candidate of APC. So when people like Kwakwaso came and all that article, they were outsiders. So that is why I was saying that people like Rotimi and Mechi, they are outsiders. They came into APC after we had formed APC in 2013. They came in 2014.
All right. We'll take this breather. The former special advisor to President Buhari on public prosecution. Now, 13 years down the line after the establishment of this Progressive Congress, Nigerians are not satisfied. Some Nigerians are saying, look, this is not what we expected. And they expect that come 2027, that the ADC or any other party might come to the rescue.
ADC is a non-starter. Right now, the ADC is in disarray. Okay, and I can see how the Hawks, Tinubu, Atiku is there, P2B, well, we don't know if P2B is there. We don't even know if Atiku is there.
Atiku is there. Atiku resigned from PDP.
Has he joined the party?
Yes.
Okay. What of P2B? Because I heard that day that some of them were giving marching orders.
Yes.
That they have to leave their platforms and join the ADC. Because you cannot belong to two political parties. And that is why all this the idea of coalition is laughable. Because even the term coalition is not applicable to a presidential system of government in which we are running.
How?
Well, yeah, coalition is, the parliamentary system which this country practiced from 1954 to 1966. In that system...
Yours was a merger.
Yeah, no, well, I'm going to talk about the difference between presidential system of government and parliamentary.
Okay.
So we then practice what we call the Westminster style of parliamentary democracy, which we inherited from UK when we were under their colonialism. And in that system, the leader of the party with the largest number of seats in the parliament will be the person that will be invited to come and form government. Okay? So, normally, if any of the political parties fails to
form majority,
exactly, win majority of the seats in the parliament, okay, they will now form a coalition
with
different political parties, just like what we had in 1959, Northern People's Congress and NCNC. Northern People's Congress won, seats, but they couldn't form the majority in the parliament. So NPC had to go into coalition with NCNC to form government in 1959 in Nigeria. So, but in the presidential system of government, it's winners take all. The president, must come, presidential candidate must come out, and he has to campaign all over the country. And then if he is able to meet the conditions that are prescribed by the Constitution, he becomes the president-elect. Unlike in the presidential parliamentary system, you will not have somebody who will come out and begin to campaign all over the country. The person if he's from Bauchi Federal Constituency, he will campaign there. If he wins, fine. Then in the parliament, they can say, okay, come and form government, and he becomes the prime minister. So all this idea of coalition is a misnomer. It's not applicable in a presidential system of government. You don't know what they are talking about. It's just a gimmick to deceive Nigerians that they are coming together. When we know that they have not been able to come together, do what we did, where all the parties, ACN, CPC, ABGA, a faction of ABGA, AMPP, collapse all their structures. Some merge everything. Some zoom all their privileges and powers and rights into, a single vehicle, which was APC. And then we applied to INEC for registration. And INEC registered APC on the 31st of July 2013.
Some will say 8 years of Muhammadu Buhari was a big setback to the country.
I don't agree with that. Taking into account where we're coming from, I think APC has done very well. Muhammadu Buhari did very well. And then, otherwise, we wouldn't have won the 2023 elections.
Did very well.
Yes, he did very well. You don't expect somebody to use 8 years. He's solving all the monumental problems grappling and confronting Nigerians. There are so many, whether in the educational sector, in the health sector, even the elections system, political system. So the country
other political parties argue that it's a big setback, that it was a big
setback
do you expect them to say?
Nigeria. They must say something, like, for instance, they have been saying that President Muhammadu Obla Tinubu has not done well, and the economy has collapsed. But every indication shows that the economy has not collapsed. The economy is bouncing back strongly. And they say, oh, the government is not good, but have they given us an alternative roadmap? Okay, if they say that subsidies shouldn't have gone, have they told us what they will do if they come into office and restore subsidy? So Politicians will always have something to say, okay, because they have to convince the people that we are better than the other person. So that, saying APC has not done well is nonsensical. The APC has done well, taking into account where the country was coming from. And otherwise, we wouldn't have won the 2023 elections. You remember what happened? There was an attempt to change the currency, and it brought a lot of hardship. There was no fuel, you know, but despite all that, all those challenges, we still won the 2023 elections.
Do you see a replay of what happened in 2023 and 2027?
There is no party that can win APC. All the parties we have are fringe parties. ADC is a fringe party.
In spite of the rising popularity of the likes of Peter Obi.
Oh, Peter Obi is a sectional, politician.
What do you mean by that?
Oh, in the southeast.
No,
he's strong in the southeast.
He gave a good account of himself in the north central.
Oh, north central, yes. He made inroad, but that doesn't turn him into a national.
Some other parts of the north.
It doesn't turn him into a national political figure. Yes. So having support in north central and south east would not make you president. And that is what we saw. Buhari had...
President Tinubu won with just 38%. That's the lowest since 1999.
There's nothing wrong with that. I have
38%.
I have thought there's nothing wrong with that. Okay? You can even win somebody with 20 votes. You can win with 20 votes. Even Buhari was so popular, he has a cult-like followership, particularly in northern Nigeria. If you look at the difference between the vote he had in 2015, okay, and the one President Jonathan, who was the incumbent, had, it was just less than 2 million votes. 2 million votes, yes. So I say that, later he had 38% and not, rather than 50% or 60%. Doesn't make anything. Most important thing, he won the election.
All these opposing parties, if they come together as one, don't you see them
Have they come together?
Eventually, we still have 2 years to the election.
No, they haven't. He said, look, let us, borrow from what happened, in 2015. We started the major talk in 2013, 2 years before the elections. And we concluded major talks in June 2013. They had finished. We put all our papers together and applied to INEC for registration. So 31st July 2013, we were registered. From July 2013 to May 2015, or even April 2015, when the elections take place, we had sufficient time to campaign vigorously and sell, the APC, our agenda to the people of Nigeria. And the people of Nigeria, supported APC. And we were able to win elections for the first time an opposition party was winning an elections in Nigeria. It was unprecedented. So we have not seen that kind of, thing in what they are trying to do. And they don't have figures like President Bola Tinubu. They don't have somebody like Muhammadu Buhari. So I can't see them performing any magic. All the people I have seen, is it Atiku, who has been contesting since 2007, and he has not really gained any traction. Is it Peter Obi? Is it Kwankwaso? So I can't see any of them winning, and I can't see them having that presence of mind to forge a merger, which I thought they should form a merger so that we will have an alternative. They couldn't.
Robust competition.
Yes, because of personal interest, all of them want to be presidential candidates, and it's not possible.
Okay, we have to leave it there. Yes. I want to thank you, Okoi Obla, the former special advisor to President Muhammadu Buhari on public prosecution, and that's our offering today. Join us.